Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Senate map based off the newest or latest polling from RCP averages. But before we get on with the map, make sure you are subscribed. Click the bell to get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them. We have memberships, so if you are looking for that, it's pinned in the comment section down below. So as you can see right off the bat, Republicans have an advantage on this year's Senate race. The map is literally made for them to retake the Senate. The map is made in favor of Republicans. Now, back in 2022, it was pretty much the same thing. It was made to favor Republicans, but guess what? They lost because they shot themselves in the foot by nominating terrible candidates. For example, Carrie Lake. For example, Dr. Oz. For example, Herschel Walker. Though I just named 3 candidates that the Republicans basically cost us Senate by nominating those candidates. Maybe we can see that again, for example, with Bernie Moreno in Ohio. So let's fill out the likely states. Florida, I think Rick Scott is more than likely to win his seat, replacing Marco Rubio. I think he's going to win by a margin of around 8 percentage points. It's not going to get close at all. Basically, the Democratic Party of Florida statewide is just an utter mess and utter disaster. Republicans pretty much conquered the entire state. And then Texas should also be somewhat close, actually. I think it will be closer than Florida, but I still think Ted Cruz has the advantage there. I think he has the edge, even though it was close in 2018. He actually almost lost. He only won by 1 to 2 percentage points. So if it is close somehow, I won't be surprised. I think Colin Allred may be a little bit underestimated, so maybe he will overperform some polls. But as of right now, polling suggests that Ted Cruz is expected to comfortably win that race. And let's take a look at our first poll from RCP averages. Out of Michigan's Senate race, very new, out of March 21st, very recently, it is a tie between Alyssa Slotkin and her Republican opponent, Rogers. It is a dead tie at 37 to 37%. And then you take a look at polls from March 20th, and Emerson College suggests that Slotkin is up by 2%. So overall, this race is extremely close. And then February, she's up by 1 point. January, she's up by 1 point. So this is very consistent. These are not outliers. You see a consistent trend in Michigan Senate race in which it is a very tight race, but Alyssa Slotkin is either tied or she wins by only 1 to 2 percentage points. So at the end of the day, according to the latest polls, Alyssa Slotkin wins her race in Michigan for the Democratic Party by a tilt margin. By, the most she's leading is by 2 points at the very most. And as of right now, it's currently a tie. So we're barely going to give her the victory. And then in Wisconsin, Democratic incumbent Tammy Baldwin is expected to win her race as of March polling data from the Hill/Emerson College by roughly 3 percentage points, which is, not the greatest margin. It will be close. It will be competitive, but it's a lead margin of 3 percentage points, so she's going to win that as of this month. And keep in mind, she is a strong Democratic incumbent. And then in Arizona, as we all know, Kristen Sinema will not be running. She opted out of the race, so it's going to be a 2-way race instead of a 3-way race between Ruben Gallego and Carrie Lake. And as we all know what happened back in 2022, Carrie Lake literally sabotaged her own party by becoming the nominee, and she did terrible in the governor's race. And as of right now, she lost to Katie Hobbs, obviously. And as of right now, out of March 19th, the Hill and Emerson College, pretty good pollsters has Gallego up by 2%, which is not the greatest margin, but it is actually pretty good considering that he is not an incumbent and he's winning in the state of Arizona by roughly a tilt to lean margin. We're going to leave it as a lean margin. In Nevada, it's going to be Jackie Rosen, the Democratic incumbent, versus her Republican opponent, Samuel Brown. As if this month we have 2 polls from this month, March 19th and March 18th. From the Hill, Emerson College suggests Jackie Rosen is winning her seat by 2%, which is a lean margin. And then another poll out of March suggests she's up by 6%. So if you average it out, it's probably 4 percentage points, which, overall is a lean margin. So she's pretty much going to win her race, defeating Samuel Brown. And then this is the map so far. We have 4 Senate races to fill out. And then in Maryland, Larry Hogan is actually winning by double digits against Trone. Let's say Trone is not the Democratic nominee. Let's say it's Angela Alsobrooks. He actually does better by 14%. So it doesn't matter who his opponent is. Larry Hogan is actually winning his Senate seat in Maryland for the Republicans, which would actually help them out a lot. So he actually might be able to win there. And then we have 3 more Senate races to fill out according to polls out of this month, the latest and newest polling data from RCP averages. Now, finally, we get to the nitty-gritty, the most important states of them all that can ultimately decide who wins the Senate. Ohio's Senate race between Sherrod Brown and Bernie Moreno, who just won his primary. Obviously, Trump-backed candidate, Trump-endorsed candidate. Brown is actually up as of March. 3 polls has him comfortably winning by 5 points, The Hill and Emerson College, by 6 points, and by 4 points. So overall, you average those out. That's a margin, basically a lean margin. So maybe when I stated earlier, back in the 2022 midterms, Republicans nominated unelectable candidates. Candidate quality matters. And the 2022 midterms is a great example of why candidate quality matters. And for example, if Bernie Moreno is truly a far-right extremist, he can very well be losing, because the same polls that actually has Sherrod Brown winning has a ticket splitting. The same people that voted for Trump voted for Sherrod Brown. So you can obviously see that ticket split, but keep in mind this is a presidential election year, so maybe that does not end up happening. But as of this month, according to RCP averages, Sherrod Brown, the Democratic incumbent, holds on to his seat in Ohio. And as we all know, Ohio is a very deep red, ruby red state. So that's going to be hard for any Democrat to win. And considering that he is the only Democrat standing in Ohio, shows you that he is a very strong Democratic incumbent. And by the way, keep in mind, Democrats hoped that Bernie Moreno would win the nomination because they understand that he is the most unelectable. And that's what they think. But it is possible that Donald Trump does end up carrying Moreno to a possible victory. And then Pennsylvania, we most likely will be seeing David McCormick, who lost the 2022 primaries to obviously Dr. Oz, a Trump-backed candidate. And then Bob Casey, the Democratic incumbent, who is a very strong incumbent. The latest polls, The Hill / Emerson College has Bob Casey up by 4 percentage points, which is a decent margin, which is a lean margin. And at this point in time, Republicans already clinched the Senate. So they basically are most likely going to take control of the Senate in 2024. And like I stated earlier, this map literally comes in favor of them. They start off with an advantage. And the last and final race is Montana, which is most likely going to be Tim Sheehy versus Democratic incumbent Jon Tester. So similar to Sherrod Brown in Ohio, Jon Tester is another strong Democratic incumbent in a very red state. As of March polling data, The Hill and Emerson College suggests Tester has a slight advantage of 2%. And keep in mind, this is a Trump 20 plus 20 state, a Trump plus 15 state. So considering that a Democrat is doing somewhat reasonable in this state, actually he's doing very well. It goes to show you how much of a strong incumbent he is, and he's going to win by a total margin according to the latest polls out of March this month. And we are nearing April, so I will update you guys another. So this is the finalized Senate map as of March. Republicans take back control with 51 seats. Democrats barely falling short at 49 seats. And basically Maryland helps the Republicans clinch with Larry Hogan. He basically carries them because you have Bernie Moreno basically trying to sabotage the Republicans again. That's what the polls are saying. That's not what I'm saying. Obviously, Carrie Lake in Arizona is the most obvious one. She should not be the nominee. She really shouldn't, because she's just going to lose again, and it's so obvious. If she could win the governor's race is more easier than the Senate. The Senate is harder to win. So if she couldn't even win the governor's race, you think Carrie Lake is going to win the Senate? No, I don't think so. And I don't care how weak Ruben Gallego is. I think he's going to win most likely. So as of today, Republicans win the Senate with 51 seats to the Democrats 49 seats. Let me know your thoughts are on the map. What's Senate races you agree with, what Senate races you disagree with. Keep in mind, this is not my prediction. This is based off of RCP averages, what the polls say. Make sure you are subscribed. And one last final reminder before I end out the video is we have memberships. So if you're looking for that, it's pinned in the comment section down below. And make sure you click the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them. Thank you everyone for watching.